My name is Caleb Fletcher. I'm 16 years old, and this happened about 8 to 9 months ago on August 24th, which was a Saturday. School had been going on for about 2 weeks, so to relax, I decided to see if my friends Griffin and Broly wanted to play Fortnite. My mom and sister were out shopping, my dad was working, and I was bored. It was around 8 p.m. when we finally started playing because I had decided to make pizza rolls first, but ended up burning them. After a few rounds, my friends were getting tired of losing, so they got off after only an hour. I planned on lying down with my phone and going to bed, but then I heard my 2 dogs barking outside. It's normal for them to bark since people often walk by, but I looked anyway just to be sure. Seconds after looking out the window, I heard our garage door open and close. That usually means my dad is home from work, but I didn't see his van outside, and he had texted me earlier saying he would be working late tonight. I decided to go downstairs to the dining room and look out the window for a better view. From there I could see that our driveway was empty. There wasn't a person or car in sight. I'm not the type to investigate, so I ran back up to my bedroom and texted my family group chat to ask if anybody was home. I told my mom about the garage door, and she told me to turn off the lights, lock my bedroom door, and stay there until she got home. So I did just that. About 15 minutes later, I thought I heard our wooden floor downstairs creaking like someone was trying to be quiet. I didn't have anything to use as a weapon, so I took the boom arm off my microphone stand and quietly opened the door. I walked out onto our upstairs balcony and looked over, trying to see if I could spot anyone or anything suspicious. I stupidly yelled, "Is anybody there?" like they were really going to answer. I thought everything was fine until I saw a large shadow of someone standing under the balcony. I panicked and ran to the closest room with a door, which was my small bathroom. The intruder must have known I saw them because I heard loud and fast footsteps running up our stairs. As I locked myself in the bathroom, I realized I had left my phone in the bedroom, which was right next to me. After building up enough courage, I ran into my bedroom, locking the door as soon as I got in. My sister's room was right across from mine and its door was open, so I figured the intruder must be in there. After locking my bedroom door, I grabbed my phone and typed 911 into it. Just before I called, I noticed that the storage room in my wall was open a little. I saw a dark brown eye peeking through the gap, staring at me. The pure terror I felt in that moment is something I'll never forget. I ran down the stairs and out the front door, running up the hill to my neighbor's house. He was a police officer. He alerted the other cops while I stayed with his wife, and he went down to investigate. I told him exactly where the intruder was hiding in my bedroom. Minutes later, I ran back down the hill to see if the intruder had been caught. When I walked in, I saw a tall, skinny man with a gray beard and a dirty black coat being pushed onto the floor by my neighbor as he was getting handcuffed. I'm not allowed to be home alone anymore, and we have better security around our house now. My family was just happy to know I wasn't hurt, and they were thankful for my neighbor's bravery. I don't wish an experience like this on anybody, not even my worst enemy. This happened a few months ago when I was driving for DoorDash. I only drive as a side job, maybe 10 to 15 hours a week. One night I was doing a few orders since it was already late. Around 1 a.m., I picked up a small order to be delivered to a business building across town. The address showed it was a business building. When I got to the parking lot, it was empty. There were no cars, and it didn't look like there was a parking lot behind the building either. I parked near the front and got out with the food. The building was small, only 2 stories, and all the lights were off except for one behind the front door. I checked the app and saw instructions to enter the main hallway and leave the bag outside room 232. I looked through the door and saw a hallway with a bunch of closed doors. I had only delivered to specific rooms at hotels before, so this was new for me. I pushed on the door, and it was unlocked, so I stepped inside. I expected to hear people working or talking, but it was completely silent. The only sound was the buzzing of the overhead lights. The first few doors were numbered in the 100s, like 102 and 106. The room I needed was in the 200s, so I guessed it was on the 2nd floor. In the middle of the hallway was a doorway leading to the staircase. The door was held open with a wedge, but the lights weren't on. I walked to the bottom of the stairs and looked up. It was completely dark. The silence made me feel uneasy, and I got chills. I usually follow instructions to get good reviews, but this felt too creepy. I stepped out of the stairwell and back into the hallway. Just then, the door across from me opened. A man came out of the dark room and stepped into the hallway. He was wearing street clothes and didn't look like an office worker. He pointed past me at the stairwell and said, "232 is up there." I nodded but didn't move, and neither did he. He stared at me with an angry look. After a few tense seconds, I dropped the bag on the ground and quickly walked to the exit. The man didn't follow me, but I heard his footsteps going up the stairs as I left the building. I got in my car and drove away. I wasn't sure if I was overreacting, so I didn't call the police. The next day, the police called me. The office had reported a break-in, and they saw my car on the CCTV footage, tracking my license plate back to me. They also had footage of the break-in and wanted to question me. I didn't have much to tell them, but it turned out 3 people had broken in. One was the man I saw downstairs, and the other 2 were hiding at the top of the stairs, waiting for me to go up. Other DoorDash drivers had also delivered to that office that night, but they were smart and left the orders outside the front door. We don't know what would have happened if any of us had gone to the second floor, but hopefully the police can find the 3 men before someone gets hurt. I'm a man working at a mid-sized grocery store. I do 10-hour shifts, mostly overnight. At that time, our store had staffing problems, so every department was understaffed and overworked. Overnight stocking was no exception. Usually, one guy helped me 5 nights a week, but this was his day off, so I was working alone. I got in at 10 p.m. and was alone by 10:15 p.m. After checking some numbers in the office, I started pulling out boxes to the aisles to unpack and stock. Even though I was alone, I still had to get everything done, so I worked hard and fast. I didn't take a break. Suddenly, I heard a tapping sound echo through the store. I stopped and listened. It happened again, sounding like someone tapping on a front window. I checked my watch for the first time since I started working. It was 2 a.m. Time had flown by, but there was no reason anyone should be here. I walked down the aisle to the front and saw someone outside the store. He was leaning against the window, trying to look inside. He saw me and stared. I asked what he wanted. The man, who looked homeless, told me to open the door. He had a straight face, no smile. I said we were closed and he couldn't be here, then turned to walk away. But the man started banging on the window, not tapping like before. It was harsh banging. I looked back, and he was enraged with his fist against the glass. Thinking he was crazy, I told him I'd call the cops if he didn't leave. I pulled out my phone to show I was serious. Only then did he step away from the window. He still looked angry as he walked into the parking lot. Seeing him leave, I put my phone away and got back to work. We get a lot of crazy customers, so I didn't think much about it. I had to focus on my work. I stocked a small cart of boxes. About 15 minutes later, when I heard a sudden sound. It was like metal snapping or scraping. I dropped what I was doing and ran to the front. Nobody was at the windows, so I checked the entrance door. It was a revolving glass door with a bolt lock at the top to keep it closed at night. The bolt was missing, not just unlocked, but completely gone. I pressed on the door and it moved freely, letting anyone in. I felt my face go white. I knew I needed to call the police. I turned to go to the front office and saw the guy from before. He was just a few feet away, still staring angrily. I didn't hesitate. I ran out the revolving door, hearing him follow close behind. An old van sped up to the front and nearly hit me, but I kept running until I reached my car. Once inside, I saw the guy wasn't chasing me anymore, and the van sped out of the parking lot. I called the cops and spent the next couple of hours explaining what happened. The next day, we got security footage of the man breaking in, but the quality wasn't great. We're pretty sure they were trying to get me into their van, but we don't know why. I'm sure if I hadn't been quick, I might never have been seen again.